I want an open marriage. That's what her husband said, calm, unapologetic, after years of forgetting her, replacing her, erasing her. What he didn't expect was that 24 hours later, another man would see her, choose her, and make her untouchable. A mafia boss, a dangerous desire, and a woman who finally stops begging to be loved. But when jealousy turns into violence and power demands loyalty, one question remains. Did she escape neglect, or trade it for something far more dangerous? Welcome to Afro-Korean Stories TV, romance lovers. Please like, share, and subscribe. Nadia's hands trembled around her third glass of wine. Or was it her fourth? She'd lost count 2 hours ago, the same way she'd lost count of how many times Marcus had come home smelling like someone else. The apartment was dark, except for the dim kitchen light. She sat at their dining table, the one they'd picked out together 7 years ago, back when he still looked at her like she hung the moon. Now he barely looked at her at all. The front door opened at 2 a.m. Marcus walked in, tie loosened, lipstick smeared across his collar like a brand. He didn't even try to hide it anymore. "You're still up," he said, not quite meeting her eyes. Nadia laughed. It came out broken. "Where else would I be?" He moved past her toward the bedroom. She caught his wrist. "We need to talk about this." "There's nothing to talk about, Nadia. We agreed." "You decided," she corrected, her voice cracking. "You decided you wanted an open marriage. You decided I wasn't enough. You decided other women could give you what I couldn't." Marcus pulled his arm free. "You know I still care about you. But I want children. You can't give me that." 5 years of trying. 5 years of doctors, treatments, hope bleeding into despair. And this was his solution. "So you bring them here?" Her voice rose. "To our home. You parade them through the life we built together. Don't be dramatic. Don't be." She stood so fast the chair scraped. "You forgot our anniversary last month. You forgot my birthday 2 weeks ago. You won't eat anything I cook. You won't touch me. You won't even look at me." "But I'm being dramatic?" Marcus's jaw tightened. "I told you I still want you in my life. Just not like that anymore." The words landed like a blade between her ribs. He walked away. She heard the bedroom door close. Their separate bedroom now. He'd moved his things out 3 weeks ago. Nadia sank back into her chair and reached for the bottle. The next morning, she woke on the couch, head pounding, mascara dried on her cheeks. Marcus was already gone. No note, no goodbye. Just the faint scent of cologne that used to make her heart race. She dragged herself to the shower, stood under scalding water until her skin turned pink, and tried to remember who she'd been before she'd given up everything for a man who couldn't even remember her birthday. She'd left her job for him. Let go of her friends because he said they were too loud, too much. Stopped wearing certain dresses because he said they attracted too much attention. Stopped wearing makeup for the same reason. "I just want you to myself," he'd whispered once, kissing her temple. Is that so wrong? She'd thought it was love. Now she knew it was control. Later that week, Marcus brought another woman home. Nadia was in the kitchen when she heard them. High-pitched laughter, the rustle of clothing, her husband's low murmur. She gripped the counter until her knuckles went white. The woman was young, pretty. Everything Nadia used to be before years of heartbreak had carved lines around her eyes. "Oh!" The woman startled when she saw Nadia. "I didn't know anyone else was here." Marcus appeared behind her, hand possessive on the woman's waist. He looked at Nadia with something like pity. "This is my wife," he said casually. "Nadia, this is Simone." Simone's smile faltered. "Your wife?" "We have an arrangement," Marcus explained, steering Simone toward the bedroom. "Don't worry about it." "Don't worry about it." Nadia stood frozen until she heard the bedroom door close. Then she grabbed her purse and walked out. She ended up at a club downtown, the kind of place Marcus would have hated. Too loud, too crowded, too alive. Perfect. She'd stopped at home first, changed into a dress she'd bought years ago but never worn. Black, fitted, low cut, the kind that made her curves look dangerous. She'd done her makeup the way she used to, back when she still believed she deserved to be looked at. The bouncer waved her through without question. Inside, the music was deafening, the lights dizzying. Nadia pushed through to the bar and ordered something strong. "Vodka martini," she told the bartender. "Make it a double." She was halfway through her second drink when she felt him, a presence, thick and weighted, settling into the space beside her. She didn't turn, didn't acknowledge him, but her skin prickled with awareness. "Rough night?" His voice was smooth, accented, and dangerous. Nadia glanced over. He was Korean, impossibly handsome, dressed in a suit that probably cost more than her car. His dark eyes held hers with an intensity that made her breath catch. "You could say that," she replied, taking another sip. "Your husband's an idiot." She choked on her drink. "Excuse me. I've been watching you since you walked in." He tilted his head, studying her. "The way you hold yourself, like you're trying to remember how to exist, like someone spent years convincing you to disappear." Nadia's heart hammered. "You don't know anything about me. I know you wore that dress to remind yourself you're still desirable." His gaze dropped briefly, appreciatively, then returned to her face. "I know it worked." Heat flooded her cheeks. "That's incredibly presumptuous." "I'm J1, he extended a hand, "and I'm rarely wrong." Against her better judgment, she took it. His grip was firm, warm, and deliberate. "Nadia. Beautiful name." He didn't let go immediately. "What brings you here alone, Nadia?" She laughed bitterly. "Freedom. Stupidity. Revenge." "Pick one." "Revenge," J1 repeated, something dark flickering in his expression. "Now that I understand." They talked for an hour. Or rather, she talked. And he listened. Really listened. In a way Marcus hadn't in years. She told him about the open marriage, the infertility, the slow, systematic erasure of who she used to be. She told him things she'd never said out loud, words spilling like wine from a broken glass. J1 didn't interrupt, didn't offer platitudes, just watched her with those devastating eyes, and occasionally signaled for another round. "So he wants his cake, and to eat it too," J1 finally said. "Wants you for... what? Comfort? Control? While he finds someone else to build his future with. Apparently. And you're letting him." Nadia stiffened. "I didn't. You left, didn't you? You got dressed, walked out, came here." He leaned closer. "That took courage. Don't waste it drowning in vodka and self-pity." "What do you suggest I do?" she snapped. "He's already moved on. I'm just the wife he keeps around out of obligation." "Then stop being obligated." J1's smile was slow, dangerous. "Start being unavailable." "I don't understand." "Date me." Nadia blinked. "What?" "For revenge. For your pride. For whatever you need." He shrugged like he was suggesting dinner, not upending her entire world. "I guarantee your husband won't stay indifferent once he realizes another man wants what he's been neglecting. That's insane." "Maybe." J1 pulled out his phone, typed something, and showed her the screen. "But I'm also serious. That's my number. Think about it." Before she could respond, he stood, buttoned his jacket, and gave her one last lingering look. "Wear that dress when you call me," he said. "I want to see you in it again." Then he was gone, swallowed by the crowd. Nadia stared at the number glowing on her phone screen. Her heart was racing, her hands were shaking, and for the first time in 5 years, she felt something other than numb. She went home at dawn, Marcus was waiting in the living room, still dressed, arms crossed. He looked furious. "Where the hell were you?" Nadia walked past him, humming under her breath. Her phone buzzed. She glanced at it and smiled. A real, genuine smile that lit her entire face. "Nadia." Marcus's voice was sharp. "I asked you a question." "Out," she said simply, heading toward the guest bedroom, her bedroom now. "Out where? Does it matter?" She paused at the door, glancing back. "You're never home anyway." His jaw clenched. "We need to talk about this." "Now you want to talk?" She laughed. "Good night, Marcus." She closed the door, leaned against it, pulled out her phone and read Jaewon's text. "Sleep well, Nadia. You deserve better than what you've been accepting." Her thumb hovered over the keyboard. Then, before she could second-guess herself, she typed back. "When can I see you again?" His response was immediate. "Tomorrow. I'll pick you up at 7. Wear whatever makes you feel powerful." The next evening, Nadia stood in front of her closet for 20 minutes. Everything in it was conservative, safe, chosen to please a man who no longer saw her. Screw that. She dug to the back, found another dress she'd hidden away. Deep red, sleeveless, fitted. She paired it with heels that made her legs look endless. Hair down, makeup bold. Lips painted the color of wine. When she walked into the living room at 6:55, Marcus looked up from his laptop and froze. "Where are you going?" "Out." "Dressed like that? Problem?" She raised an eyebrow. "Nadia, we talked about this. Those clothes. You talked. I listened. I'm done listening." She grabbed her purse. "Don't wait up." A car horn sounded outside. She didn't look back as she walked out, but she felt Marcus's stare burning into her spine. Jaewon was leaning against a sleek black car, hands in his pockets, looking like sin incarnate. When he saw her, something flickered in his eyes. Hunger, approval, possession all at once. "Perfect," he murmured, opening the door for her. "You look perfect." As the car pulled away, Nadia glanced back. Marcus stood in the window, watching. "Good. Let him watch." Jaewon took her to a restaurant she couldn't pronounce, the kind where there are no menus, just courses that appear like art. "Tell me," he said, over wine that probably cost more than her rent. "What did your husband say when you left?" He was surprised. "Surprised you disobeyed?" Jaewon's smile was sharp. "Or surprised another man finds you worth his time?" "Both, probably. He's going to regret underestimating you." Jaewon reached across the table, fingers brushing her wrist. They always do. The touch sent electricity up her arm. She pulled back, but slowly, reluctantly. "You're dangerous," she whispered. "Only to people who deserve it." His eyes held hers. "And Nadia, your husband deserves everything coming to him." They talked through 7 courses, about everything and nothing. He told her about his work, vague but powerful. Import-export, he said, which she suspected was code for something darker. She didn't care. He made her laugh, made her feel seen, made her remember what it was like to be wanted. By the time dessert arrived, she was leaning into his space, hyper-aware of every movement he made. "I should go," she said, not meaning it. "Should you?" Jaewon stood and offered his hand. "Let me drive you home." They didn't speak in the car. The tension was too thick, too potent. Every breath felt like foreplay. When they pulled up outside her building, Jaewon turned to her. "He's watching," he said quietly. "Third-floor window." Nadia looked up. Sure enough, Marcus's silhouette was visible behind the curtains. "Good," she breathed. Jaewon's hand cupped her face, thumb brushing her cheekbone. "I'm going to kiss you now. Stop me if you don't want this." She didn't stop him. His lips met hers, firm and claiming, tasting like wine and something darker. His hand slid into her hair, tilting her head back, deepening the kiss until she forgot her own name. When he finally pulled away, they were both breathing hard. "Tomorrow," he said, voice rough. "I'll text you." Nadia nodded, speechless, and climbed out of the car. She walked into her building on shaking legs, lips still tingling, heart racing. Behind her, Jaewon watched until she disappeared inside. Above, Marcus watched them both. She came home giddy, flushed, alive. Marcus was waiting, jaw tight, eyes stormy. "Who is he?" Nadia hummed, checking her phone. Jaewon had already texted. "Sleep well, beautiful. Dream of me." She smiled. "Nadia." Marcus's voice was dangerous. "Answer me." "Someone who actually notices I exist," she said lightly, heading to her room. "You're my wife." "Am I?" She spun to face him. "Because you've made it very clear I'm just here. A placeholder, while you find someone better." "That's not." "Good night, Marcus." She closed the door before he could respond. The next morning, she didn't make breakfast. For 7 years, she'd woken early to cook for him. Eggs the way he liked. Coffee the way he preferred. Toast with butter, never jam. Not today. She made herself tea and toast, ate slowly, and ignored Marcus's pointed looks when he came into the kitchen. "No breakfast?" he asked, tone careful. "I only had time to make mine," she said pleasantly. "You know where everything is." His mouth opened. Closed. He looked genuinely confused. "Good morning, though," she added, smiling brightly. "I hope you have a wonderful day." Then she walked out, leaving him standing there, speechless. Over the next week, Nadia changed everything. She stopped cooking for Marcus entirely, stopped doing his laundry, stopped asking about his day. Instead, she went out. Met Jaewon for coffee, for lunch, for long drives that ended in stolen kisses and heated glances. She started dressing the way she wanted. Bold colors, fitted clothes, heels that clicked with confidence. She laughed more, smiled more, became more herself than she'd been in years. And Marcus noticed. Oh, he noticed. He started coming home earlier, started asking where she'd been, started watching her with something that looked like jealousy. "Who is this guy?" he demanded one night, following her to her bedroom. "Why do you care?" "Because you're my wife." "Funny how you keep forgetting that until someone else remembers first." She turned to face him. "What's wrong, Marcus? Don't like the open marriage when it goes both ways?" His face darkened. "This isn't what we agreed to." "We didn't agree to anything. You made a decision, and I lived with it." She stepped closer. "Now, I'm making my own decisions. Don't like it? File for divorce." His eyes widened. "You don't mean that." "Don't I?" Her phone buzzed. She glanced at it, smiled, typed a response. Marcus's hands clenched. "Let me see that." "No." "Nadia. Good night, Marcus." She closed the door, locked it this time. On the other side, she heard him swear. The breaking point came 2 weeks later. Nadia was getting ready for another date. A black dress that hugged every curve, hair cascading over her shoulders. Marcus appeared in her doorway. "We need to talk." "I'm busy." "I know you're seeing someone." His voice was strained. "I want to know who." "Why?" She applied lipstick without looking at him. "So, you can approve? Pass judgment? Decide if he's good enough for the wife you don't want?" "I never said I didn't want you." "You said it every day for the past year." She turned, and something in her expression made him step back. "Every time you came home smelling like someone else. Every time you forgot me. Every time you choose them over me." "Nadia, I'm done, Marcus. Done waiting for you to remember I exist. Done being second choice. Done being nothing." A car horn sounded outside. She grabbed her purse and walked past him. He caught her wrist. "Who is he?" "Someone who sees me." "Nadia, please." She pulled free and left. Jaewon took her to his penthouse that night, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city, furniture that belonged in magazines, a space that screamed power and wealth and danger. "This is where you live?" she breathed. "One of the places." He poured them wine and handed her a glass. "You're tense. Marcus is getting suspicious." "Let him." Jae-won stepped closer, backing her against the window. The glass was cool against her back, his body warm against her front. "Let him realize what he's losing. What if this is a mistake? What if it's not?" His hand traced her jaw. "What if you deserve to be worshipped instead of tolerated?" "Jae-won," he kissed her, slow and deep and devastating. She melted into him, fingers curling into his shirt, all thoughts of Marcus evaporating. When they broke apart, his forehead rested against hers. "Stay," he whispered. "I can't." "Then come back tomorrow, and the day after, and the day after that." His thumb brushed her lower lip. "Until staying feels right." She nodded, breathless. But when she got home that night, everything fell apart. Marcus was waiting with her phone in his hand, the one she'd left charging in the living room. His face was murderous. "Jae-won," he said, voice shaking with rage. "You're seeing Jae-won?" Her blood ran cold. "How did you? Your phone kept buzzing." "I looked." He threw it at her. She caught it barely. "Do you have any idea who he is? What he does?" "I know enough. He's my business rival, Nadia. He's been trying to destroy my company for months." "Your company?" She laughed bitterly. "That's what you're worried about?" "Not me, not our marriage. Your company? He's using you to get to me." "Or maybe," she said quietly, "he actually sees value in me beyond what I can do for him." Marcus took a step toward her, hand raised, and froze. "Touch her," a cold voice said from behind him. "And I touch you." They both spun. Jae-won stood in the doorway, suit immaculate, expression lethal. Two men flanked him. Bodyguards, she realized with a start. "How did you?" Marcus began. "I've had people watching this place since our first date." Jae-won's eyes never left Nadia. Making sure she was safe, good thing too. He walked forward, and Marcus stumbled back. "Pack your things," Jae-won told Nadia. "You're moving into my house." "She's not going anywhere," Marcus snarled. Jae-won pulled papers from his jacket, threw them at Marcus's feet. "Divorce papers. Sign them." "Like hell. Sign them, or I'll destroy everything you've built. Your company, your reputation, your future." Jae-won's smile was razor sharp. "I've been merciful because of her. Don't test me." "She's mine," Marcus spat. "No other man could ever love her like you." Jae-won laughed. "You don't know what love is." Then he cupped Nadia's face and kissed her, deep, possessive, claiming, right in front of her husband. When he pulled back, Nadia's lips were swollen, her eyes dazed. "That," Jae-won said to Marcus, "is how you love a woman like her." Marcus's face went purple. "You'll regret this." Nadia stepped forward. Her hand cracked across Marcus's cheek. The sound echoed. Marcus stared at her, shocked. "Nadia!" She slapped him again, harder. "That's for every time you forgot me," she said, voice steady. "Every time you made me feel small. Every time you choose someone else." She turned to Jae-won, whose expression had softened to something almost tender. "Take me home," she whispered. "Always." Jae-won's men carried her belongings to the waiting cars, while Marcus stood frozen, divorce papers crumpled in his fist. Nadia didn't look back. She'd spent 7 years looking back, waiting, hoping. Not anymore. The penthouse felt different when she returned, less like a showpiece, more like a sanctuary. Jae-won had cleared an entire walk-in closet for her things, had fresh flowers on the nightstand in the guest room, and had thought of everything. "You don't have to stay in the guest room," he said, leaning against the doorframe while she unpacked. "But I wanted you to have your own space. No pressure." No expectations. Nadia turned to face him. Why are you doing this? Because you deserve it. You don't even know me. I know enough. He pushed off the frame and came closer. I know you've been surviving instead of living. I know you've forgotten what it feels like to be chosen. I know. He stopped, jaw tightening. I know what it's like to be underestimated by someone who should see your worth. There was a story there. Pain is buried beneath expensive suits and dangerous smiles. Who hurt you? She asked softly. His eyes darkened. Someone who didn't deserve the power I gave them. Someone I won't let hurt me again. He touched her cheek. Stay here. Rest. Tomorrow, we'll figure out the rest. He left before she could respond. The next morning, Nadia woke to the smell of coffee and something sweet. She found Jae-won in the kitchen, sleeves rolled up, hair slightly mussed, plating what looked like homemade pancakes. You cook? She asked, surprised. When I want to. He slid a plate toward her. Eat. You barely touched dinner last night. She sat, took a bite, and nearly moaned. These are incredible. My grandmother's recipe. His smile was soft, almost boyish. She raised me, taught me that taking care of someone you... He stopped, cleared his throat. That cooking for someone matters. Nadia's heart squeezed. She sounds wonderful. She was. Past tense. The pain flickered and disappeared. Coffee? They ate in comfortable silence, and Nadia realized something startling. She felt safe here. More safe than she'd felt in her own home in years. Her phone buzzed. Marcus's name flashed on the screen. Jae-won glanced at it. You don't have to answer. I know. But she did anyway. What? Nadia, please. Come home. We can work this out. Marcus's voice was desperate. I made mistakes. I know that, but... You didn't make mistakes, Marcus. You made choices. Every single day you chose to hurt me. I still love you. She laughed bitterly. No, you don't. You love the idea of owning me. There's a difference. He's dangerous, Nadia. He'll hurt you worse than I ever could. At least he's honest about what he is. She looked at Jae-won, who was watching her with dark, intense eyes. Which is more than I can say for you. She hung up. Jae-won's hand covered hers on the table. He'll keep trying. Let him. It might get ugly. I don't care. She turned her hand over and laced their fingers together. I'm tired of being afraid. Something flickered in his expression. Pride, maybe, or possession. Good. Because I'm about to make his life very difficult. Later that day, Jae-won took her to his office. It was housed in a building that dominated the skyline, all steel and glass and barely concealed power. His private floor was a study in controlled luxury. Dark wood, expensive art, floor-to-ceiling windows that made the city look small. This is where you work? Nadia asked, taking it all in. Where I run my empire. He gestured to the windows. Everything you see out there, I have a hand in. Import, export, real estate, investments. His smile was sharp. Some legitimate, some less so. Should that scare me? Probably. He came up behind her, close enough that she could feel his heat. Does it? No. She turned to face him. Should it? Not if you trust me. Do I have a reason to? Not yet. His honesty was brutal. But you will. Before she could respond. His phone rang. He glanced at it, frowned, and answered. Speak. His tone changed. Cold. Commanding. When? How many? A pause. Handle it. No witnesses. He hung up. Nadia's stomach flipped. What was that? Business. He pocketed his phone. Nothing for you to worry about. Jae-won, I told you what I am, Nadia. I won't hide it from you. He stepped closer. But I will protect you from it. Always. What if I don't want to be protected? What if I want to understand? He studied her for a long moment. You're not afraid of me. Should I be? Most people are. I'm not most people. His smile was slow, dangerous, devastating. No, you're not. That evening, Job Wan took her to a charity gala, the kind where everyone wore designer gowns and fake smiles. He'd had a dress delivered, midnight blue, backless, elegant enough to be respectful, but daring enough to turn heads. You're trying to make a statement, she said, studying herself in the mirror. I'm trying to show the world you're mine. He appeared behind her, fastening a diamond necklace around her throat. Let them look. Let them wonder. Let your husband see what he lost. The possessiveness should have bothered her. Instead, it sent heat pooling low in her belly. Will he be there? I made sure of it. Jae-won's smile in the mirror was predatory. Your husband does business with half the people attending tonight. He can't afford not to show. You're playing games. I'm proving a point. He turned her to face him, that you were never his to keep, only his to lose. The gala was everything Nadia expected. Champagne, classical music, people in clothes worth more than cars. Jae-won kept her close hand on her lower back, fingers occasionally tracing her bare skin in a way that made her shiver. People stared, whispered. She caught the words. Jae-won's new woman, Marcus's wife, scandal. She lifted her chin and smiled. Marcus arrived an hour in. He saw them immediately, saw Nadia in Jae-won's arms as they swayed to the music, saw the way Jae-won looked at her like she was the only person in the room. His face went white, then red. He's watching, Jae-won murmured against her ear. I know. Want me to make it worse? How much worse? His hand slid lower on her back, pulling her flush against him. Much worse. Her breath caught. Do it. He spun her, dipped her, brought her back up slowly, intimately, his lips brushing her temple as they resumed dancing. Across the room, Marcus's champagne glass shattered in his grip. Point made, Nadia whispered, trying not to smile. Not yet. 20 minutes later, a man approached them, tall, handsome, clearly interested in Nadia. Excuse me, he said, flashing a charming smile. I don't mean to intrude, but I had to tell you, you're absolutely stunning. Nadia blinked. Oh, thank you. I'm David. Would you like to? She's taken, Jae-won said, voice ice cold. David's smile faltered. I didn't see a ring. You see me. Jae-won stepped between them, and suddenly David looked very small. That should be enough. Jae-won, Nadia said, touching his arm. It's fine. He was just being nice. He was flirting with what's mine. The possessiveness in his tone sent shivers down her spine, equal parts thrilling and terrifying. David raised his hands. My mistake, sorry. He retreated quickly. Nadia turned to Jae-won. That was unnecessary. Was it? His eyes were molten. Because every man here has been looking at you like they have a chance. They don't. You don't own me, don't I? He cupped her face, thumb brushing her lips. You're wearing my diamonds, living in my home, standing in my arms. Tell me, Nadia, who do you belong to? She should have been angry, should have pulled away. Instead, she whispered, You. His kiss was fierce, claiming absolutely inappropriate for their surroundings. She didn't care. When they broke apart, half the room was staring, including Marcus, whose expression had shifted from anger to something that looked like devastation. Take me home, Nadia breathed. Always. They barely made it through the penthouse door. Jae-won's hands were in her hair, her dress pooling at her feet, his mouth hot on her neck as he backed her toward his bedroom, not the guest room, his. Tell me to stop, he rasped against her skin. Don't you dare. He lifted her, and she wrapped her legs around his waist, gasping as he carried her to the bed. What followed was overwhelming, his hands everywhere, his mouth tracing paths of fire, his body pressing her into silk sheets as he worshipped every inch of her like she was sacred. "You're perfect," he breathed against her throat. "So perfect. J1, say my name like that again." She did, over and over, until the world narrowed to just them, heat and need, and something deeper, something that felt dangerously like falling. Later, much later, they lay tangled together, sweat-cooled and breathless. Nadia traced patterns on his chest, feeling his heartbeat slow. "This changes things," she whispered. "Yes. What happens now?" He pulled her closer. "Now, I make sure you never regret choosing me." But in the morning, doubt crept in. Nadia woke alone. The sheets beside her were cold. J1 already gone. She found a note on the nightstand. "Business emergency. Back tonight. Make yourself at home. Make yourself at home in a penthouse worth millions, wearing the aftermath of the most intense night of her life, with a man she barely knew but had given everything to." What had she done? Her phone buzzed. Multiple texts from Marcus. "I saw you last night. How could you do this to us? He'll get bored of you. He always does. When he throws you away, don't come crawling back." Each word was a poison dart, finding soft tissue. What if Marcus was right? What if this was just revenge for J1, a way to hurt his business rival? What if she'd traded one man who didn't value her for another who was only using her? She'd given herself to him so completely last night. Let him see every vulnerable part of her. Let herself believe she could be wanted. What if it was all a lie? The thought made her chest tight, her breathing shallow. She needed air, space, clarity. She dressed quickly, scribbled her own note. Needed some time. "Don't worry," and left. Nadia spent the day walking aimlessly through the city, phone off, mind racing. She thought about Marcus, about 7 years of slow erosion. Thought about J1, about 3 weeks of intensity and promises. Thought about herself, about who she'd been and who she was becoming. She ended up at a cafe, ordering coffee she didn't drink, watching people live their uncomplicated lives. A woman sat down across from her, uninvited. She was elegant, older, wearing clothes that whispered wealth. "You're Nadia," she said. Not a question. "Do I know you?" "Not yet. I'm Minseo, J1's associate." Her smile was cool. "And his ex-wife." Nadia's blood turned to ice. "He didn't mention me?" Minseo's laugh was bitter. "Of course not. He never does. What do you want?" "To warn you." Minseo leaned forward. "J1 doesn't love. He obsesses. He consumes. He'll make you feel like the center of his universe until he's destroyed everything that threatens his control. Then he'll move on. You don't know what you're talking about." "Don't I? I was you once. The new, shiny thing that caught his attention. He promised me the world, gave me everything I thought I wanted. Then he got bored." Minseo's eyes were hard. "He'll do the same to you, especially once he's finished using you to destroy your husband." "He's not, isn't he? Marcus is his business rival. You're the perfect weapon. Don't fool yourself into thinking this is about you. It's about winning." Minseo stood and smoothed her skirt. "When he breaks your heart, remember I warned you." She left. Nadia sat frozen, Minseo's words echoing in her head, mixing with Marcus's texts, creating a chorus of doubt. "He'll get bored. He's using you. He doesn't love." Her phone buzzed. "J1. Where are you?" "Nadia, answer me." Then another. "Please, just tell me you're safe." And another. "Whatever you're thinking, we'll talk about it. Just come home." Home. He called it home. But was it? Or was she just another acquisition, another piece in whatever game he was playing? She turned her phone off, By the time she made it back to the penthouse, it was dark. The living room was destroyed. Furniture overturned. Glass shattered. Evidence of violence everywhere. And Jae-won in the center of it, hands bloody, eyes wild. He saw her and went utterly still. "Where were you?" His voice was raw. "I've had every man I know searching the city. I thought—" He couldn't finish. "I needed space. Space." He laughed, and it sounded broken. "You disappear for 12 hours, won't answer. Your phone, and you needed space? You left this morning without saying goodbye." "I left a note." "A note," she repeated. "After last night, you left me a note." Understanding dawned in his eyes. I thought maybe your ex-wife was right. Maybe this is just a game. Maybe I'm just a weapon you're using against Marcus." "My ex?" His expression turned murderous. "Minseo found you. She warned me. About you. About what happens when you get bored." Jae-won crossed to her in 3 strides and gripped her shoulders. "Listen to me. Minseo and I were arranged. A business merger disguised as a marriage. We tolerated each other for 2 years before we both called it off. There was no love, no obsession, no consumption. Then why did she? Because she's still bitter that I wouldn't pretend for her. Wouldn't play the devoted husband when we both knew it was a lie." His grip gentlened. "You want to know the truth? I've been waiting my whole life to feel what I felt last night. Minseo can't stand that I found it with you and not her." Nadia's eyes burned. "How do I know you're telling the truth?" "Because I'm telling you things I've never told anyone." He pulled her closer. "Because I destroyed my office today when I couldn't find you. Because I've had men searching every hospital, every morgue, every place you might be. Because the thought of losing you made me lose my mind." His voice cracked on the last word. "I'm not using you, Nadia. I'm falling for you. Have been since the moment you sat down at that bar and looked at me like I was a person instead of a reputation." Tears spilt down her cheeks. "I'm scared. Of me? Of this. Of how much I want it. Of what happens when it ends. Then let me prove it won't." He cupped her face. "Let me prove I'm not him. That I see you. That I choose you. Every day, every moment, I choose you. Jae-won, move your things into my bedroom, not the guest room. Mine. Wake up with me. Fall asleep with me. Let me earn your trust. What if you break me? Then I'll spend the rest of my life putting you back together." His forehead touched hers. "I'm terrified too, Nadia, of how much power you have over me, of how completely you've undone me. But I'd rather be terrified with you than empty without you." She kissed him then, desperate, believing, choosing. "Okay," she whispered against his lips. "Okay." They moved her things that night. It felt significant, symbolic. Her clothes next to his, her books on his nightstand, her presence in his space. "Tell me about your grandmother," she said later, curled against his chest. So he did. Told her about growing up poor, about his grandmother working 3 jobs to keep him fed, about learning early that power was the only protection, about building his empire from nothing, using whatever means necessary. "She died before she could see what I became," he said quietly. "I don't know if she'd be proud or horrified." "She'd be proud," Nadia said with certainty. "You survived. You protected yourself. You became powerful enough that no one could hurt you again." His arms tightened around her. "Minseo was right about one thing. I do obsess. When something matters to me, I can't let it go. Can't walk away. Can't accept losing. Is that supposed to scare me? It should. Well, it doesn't." She looked up at him. "Because I obsess too. I give everything. I love it completely. I destroy myself for people I care about." "Not anymore," he said fiercely. "Never again. You don't destroy yourself for anyone, not even me. What if I want to? Then I won't let you." He kissed her forehead. "We'll destroy each other differently, beautifully, completely, but never at our own expense." It was a promise, a vow. She believed him. The next morning, Nadia woke to Jaewon's phone ringing. He answered it with a growl. "This better be important." His expression darkened as he listened. "When? How bad?" A pause. "I'm on my way." He hung up, already moving. "What's wrong?" Nadia asked, sitting up. "Marcus did something stupid. He was pulling on clothes. Very stupid." "What did he do?" "He tried to sabotage one of my shipments. Got caught. Now he's at my warehouse, and my men want to know what to do with him." Nadia's stomach dropped. "Jaewon, what will you—" "Come with me," he interrupted. "I want you to see who he really is, what he's really capable of." "Why?" "Because you need to stop feeling guilty for leaving him." His eyes were hard. "You need to see that he never deserved you." The warehouse was on the outskirts of the city, surrounded by men in dark suits who nodded respectfully as Jaewon passed. Marcus was inside, tied to a chair, face already bruised. When he saw Nadia, he started struggling. "Nadia, thank God! Tell them this is a mistake." She stayed silent. Jaewon circled him slowly. "You tried to steal from me, from my business, from my livelihood." "I was trying to get my wife back." "Your ex-wife," Jaewon corrected. "You signed the papers. Under duress. Under consequence." Jaewon stopped in front of him. "You spent years taking her for granted, making her small, making her doubt herself. And now that someone sees her value, you want her back? Not because you love her, because your ego can't handle that she chose better." "She's mine," Jaewon backhanded him. The sound echoed. "She's no one's," he said coldly. "Certainly not yours." Marcus spat blood. "You think you're better than me. You're a criminal, a thug. At least I gave her a legitimate life. You gave her nothing." Jaewon crouched to Marcus's level. "You took a woman who could have been anything and convinced her she should be nothing. You took her light and dimmed it so you could shine. You're not a husband. You're a parasite. And you're what? Her savior?" Marcus laughed bitterly. "She'll see through you eventually. See that you're just using her for revenge. Then she'll come crawling back, and I won't take her." "Good," Nadia said, speaking for the first time. Marcus's head snapped toward her. "Because I'd rather die than go back to you," she continued, voice steady. "I spent 7 years shrinking myself to fit into your idea of a wife. I gave up my career, my friends, my identity. And for what? So you could parade other women through our home? So you could forget my birthday? So you could make me feel worthless?" "Nadia, I'm not finished." She stepped closer. "You didn't want an open marriage. You wanted permission to cheat while keeping me around as backup, as proof you weren't a complete failure. But guess what? You are. You're a failure as a husband, as a partner, as a man." Marcus's face crumpled. "I love you." "No, you don't. You love control. You love possession. But you've never loved me. Because if you did, you would have celebrated my strength instead of trying to break it." She turned to Jaewon. "Can we go?" "What about him?" She looked at Marcus one last time. "Let him go. He's not worth the consequences." Jaewon studied her, then nodded. "Cut him loose," he told his men. "Make sure he understands this was a mercy he didn't deserve." As they walked out, Marcus called after them. "You'll regret this, Nadia. When he destroys you, you'll regret this." She didn't look back. In the car, Jaewon took her hand. "You okay?" "Better than okay." She squeezed his fingers. "Thank you." "For what?" "For letting me handle it my way. For not needing to be the hero. For trusting me to be strong enough." His smile was soft. You've always been strong enough. You just needed to remember. Life in Jaewon's world became Nadia's new normal, and it was nothing she expected. She woke each morning to his face on the pillow beside hers, to coffee already brewing, to a man who looked at her like she was air. He worked from home when he could, kept her close during meetings, and introduced her to his associates as mine, with a possessiveness that should have suffocated, but instead made her feel treasured. "You're staring," she said one morning, catching him watching her read. "I like looking at what's mine." "Possessive much?" "Always." He pulled her into his lap. "Get used to it." She was getting used to all of it. The luxury, the danger lurking at the edges, the way his men treated her with the same respect they showed him. She was getting used to being seen, being chosen, being loved in a way that felt both overwhelming and inevitable. But peace never lasted long in Jaewon's world. 3 weeks after the warehouse incident, Nadia was shopping downtown when she felt eyes on her. She turned, scanning the crowd. Nothing. But the feeling persisted, prickling along her spine. She ducked into a boutique, pretended to browse, and watched the street through the window. A man in a dark jacket stood across the street, phone to his ear, gaze fixed on the boutique. Entrance, not Jaewon's men. She'd learned to recognize them. Her phone buzzed. "Jaewon, where are you?" "Downtown. Shopping? Alone? Your men are around somewhere." A pause, then, "Stay where you are. I'm sending a car." "Jaewon, I'm fine." "Nadia, stay. Where you are." The urgency in his text made her stomach clench. She stayed. 10 minutes later, 3 black SUVs pulled up. Jaewon emerged from the first one, expression thunderous. He swept into the boutique, found her immediately, and pulled her against him. "Are you hurt?" "No, I'm fine. What's going on?" "We're leaving. Now." He guided her outside, keeping her close. His men formed a protective circle around them. In the car, Jaewon made several calls in rapid Korean, voice clipped and dangerous. "Talk to me," Nadia said when he finally hung up. "Marcus isn't acting alone anymore." His jaw was tight. "He's made alliances. People who want to hurt me. They know the fastest way to do that is through you." Her blood ran cold. He's trying to take back control, make himself relevant, prove he still has power." Jaewon's hand found hers. "He won't touch you. I won't let him." "What are you going to do?" "Whatever I have to." His eyes were hard. "Whatever it takes to keep you safe." The penthouse became a fortress. Guards are stationed at every entrance. Security cameras everywhere. Jaewon rarely left, conducting business from home, keeping Nadia within arm's reach. She should have felt trapped. Instead, she felt protected, maybe too protected. "I can't live like a prisoner," she said one evening, watching him review security footage. "You're not a prisoner." "Then let me go out. Live normally." "There's nothing normal about the target on your back." He looked up, and the fear in his eyes was raw. "They've already tried twice. Once at the boutique, once at the cafe you went to yesterday. My men intercepted both times." She hadn't even known. "Jaewon, I can't lose you," his voice cracked. "I won't survive it." She crossed to him and framed his face with her hands. "Then let me help. Teach me to protect myself. Let me be part of the solution instead of the problem." He studied her for a long moment. "You want to learn?" "I want to stop being helpless." Something flickered in his expression. Respect, maybe, or pride. "Okay. Tomorrow, we start training." The next morning, Jaewon took her to a private gym in the basement. "Basic self-defense," he said, demonstrating a move. "Someone grabs you from behind, you do this." He walked her through it slowly, adjusting her stance, correcting her grip. His touch was clinical, but heat simmered beneath every contact. "Again," he ordered. She repeated the move. he countered, pinned her against the mat. "You're holding back," he murmured above her. "Don't. I don't want to hurt you." "You won't?" His smile was challenging. "Try." She tried. He deflected easily, flipped her, and hovered over her with their faces inches apart. "Better," he breathed, "but not good enough. Maybe you're just showing off." "Maybe." He lowered his head, lips brushing hers. "Or maybe I like having you under me. We're supposed to be training." "We are. This is very educational." She laughed, pushed at his chest. He rolled off, pulled her to her feet. They trained for 2 hours. Longer than she'd expected, harder than she'd anticipated. By the end, she was sweating, sore and exhilarated. "You're a fast learner," Jae-won said, tossing her a water bottle. "Good teacher." Motivated student. He caught her wrist, pulled her close. "Promise me something." "What?" "If anything happens, if they get past my men, past me, you run. You don't fight. You don't try to be brave. You run, and you call the number I programmed into your phone. The one marked emergency." "Jae-won, promise me, Nadia." The desperation in his voice broke her. "I promise." He kissed her then, deep and claiming, like he was memorizing her taste. That night, everything shattered. They were having dinner, just the two of them, trying to pretend everything was normal, when the power went out. Jae-won was on his feet instantly. "Stay behind me." Emergency lights flickered on. Red. Ominous. Breach in the north entrance. A voice crackled over the intercom. "Multiple hostilities. Fall back to—" Gunshots. Then static. Jae-won's face went cold. He pulled a gun from a hidden drawer and checked the chamber. "The safe room," he said. "Behind the bookshelf in the study. Code is your birthday. Get inside and don't come out until I get you." "What about you?" "I'll handle this." "Jae-won, no. Nadia." He gripped her shoulders. "I love you. Do you understand? I love you more than anything in this world. But I need you safe. Please." It was the first time he'd said it so directly, so desperately. "I love you too," she whispered. He kissed her hard, fast. "Go. Now." She ran. Behind her, she heard more gunshots, shouting, the sound of doors breaking. She found the study, the bookshelf, and punched in the code with shaking fingers. The door swung open. She stepped inside, started to close it, and heard Jae-won scream her name. Every instinct screamed at her to go back, to help, to not leave him. But she'd promised. She sealed the door and waited in the dark, heart pounding, praying to anyone listening to keep him safe. 20 minutes felt like 20 hours. Then the door opened. Jae-won stood there, covered in blood. Not his, she realized with relief. Face grim. "It's over," he said. "They're gone." She threw herself at him. He caught her, held her so tight she could barely breathe. "You're okay," she gasped. "You're okay." "Because you stayed safe." He pulled back, checked her over. "They were here for you. All of them. Marcus sent them." "How do you know?" "Because one of them told me before he died." Jae-won's expression was murderous. He thought it would buy him mercy. It didn't. "What are you going to do?" "End this." He cupped her face, once and for all. "But first, I'm getting you somewhere they can't touch you." By dawn, they were at a private estate hours outside the city. It was beautiful. Sprawling gardens, high walls, guards everywhere. A gilded cage, but a cage nonetheless. "How long?" Nadia asked. "A few days, maybe a week." Jae-won looked exhausted. "However long it takes to eliminate the threat." "You mean, kill them?" "Yes." No hesitation. "Every single person who came after you. Everyone who helped Marcus. Everyone who thought they could hurt what's mine." She should have been horrified. Instead, she felt something darker. Satisfaction, maybe, or vindication. "I'm coming with you," she said. Absolutely not. J1. Nadia, I've already lost years of my life to violence. I've done things that keep me up at night. Things I can never take back. His voice shook. I won't let that touch you. I won't let it stain you the way it stained me. It's too late. I'm already stained. I chose you. I chose this life. Don't shut me out now. I'm not shutting you out. I'm protecting you. From what? The consequences of your love? She stepped closer. I don't need protecting from that. I need you to trust that I can handle it. This isn't about trust. Then what is it about? Fear. The word exploded from him. I'm terrified that if you see what I really am, what I'm capable of when someone threatens what I love, you'll stop looking at me the way you do now. You'll see a monster instead of a man. Her heart broke. J1, I already know what you are. I've known since the beginning, and I'm still here. You don't know everything. Then show me. She took his hands. Show me all of it. The dark, the violent, the parts you're afraid will scare me away. Let me decide if I can handle it. He stared at her for a long moment. You might hate me. I could never hate you. You don't know that. Yes, she said firmly. I do. He took her with him 2 days later. They went to a warehouse on the waterfront, the kind of place where screams went unheard and bodies disappeared. Marcus was already there, tied up, surrounded by J1's men. When he saw Nadia, his eyes widened. You brought her here? To watch? No. J1's voice was ice. I brought her so she could choose. Choose what? Whether you live or die. The words hung in the air, heavy and terrible. Nadia's stomach churned. J1, I can't. You can. He turned to her. He tried to have you killed. Multiple times. He's allied with people who deal in trafficking, drugs, weapons. Things I won't touch because there are lines even I don't cross. He's become everything he accused me of being, and worse. So you choose. Mercy or justice? She looked at Marcus, at the man she'd loved for 7 years, the man who'd broken her piece by piece, the man who'd sent killers after her because his ego couldn't handle rejection. Why? She asked him. Why couldn't you just let me go? Because you're mine, Marcus said, voice desperate. You've always been mine. I made you, shaped you. Everything you are is because of me. No. Her voice was steady. Everything I was is because of you. Everything I am now is despite you. She turned to J1. I don't want him dead. Relief flickered in J1's eyes. But I don't want him free either, she continued. I want him to lose everything the way he made me lose everything. His business, his reputation, his freedom to hurt anyone else. Can you do that? J1's smile was sharp. Consider it done. Within a week, Marcus's company collapsed. J1 had evidence of fraud, embezzlement, and connections to criminal enterprises. He delivered it all to the authorities wrapped in a bow. Marcus was arrested, charged with multiple counts. His assets were frozen. His name was destroyed. It's over, J1 said, watching the news coverage with Nadia curled against his side. He can't hurt you anymore. He never really could, she murmured. He only had the power I gave him. And now? Now I'm choosing who has that power. She looked up at him. You terrify me. This life terrifies me. But walking away from you terrifies me more. His arms tightened around her. I'll spend every day making sure you never regret this choice. I know. They sat in silence, watching the world move beyond the windows, wrapped in each other, and the promise of something lasting. But peace was fragile in their world. A month later, Nadia missed her period. She stared at the pregnancy test, hands shaking, result clear as day. Positive. Her first thought was joy, bright, overwhelming, terrifying joy. Her second thought was fear. She was carrying J1's child. A child who would be born into danger, violence, a world of impossible choices. A child who would have a target on their back from the moment they drew breath. She couldn't do it. Couldn't bring a baby into this. Could she? She avoided Jaewon for 2 days, claiming she wasn't feeling well. He believed her, or pretended to, but she saw the worry in his eyes, the way he watched her like he was afraid she'd disappear. On the 3rd day, he cornered her in their bedroom. "What's wrong?" "Nothing. Nadia." He tilted her chin up. "Don't lie to me." "I'm not. You've barely looked at me in 3 days. You won't let me touch you. You're hiding something." His voice softened. "Whatever it is, we'll handle it together." The gentleness broke her. "I'm pregnant," she whispered. He went completely still. "What?" "I'm pregnant. About 6 weeks, I think." For a moment, he just stared at her. Then his face transformed. Shock bleeding into wonder, bleeding into pure, incandescent joy. "You're pregnant," he repeated, like testing the words. "We're having a baby. Jaewon, I don't know if I can." He kissed her. Deep, reverent, overwhelming. "You can," he said against her lips. "We can. I'll make it safe. I'll make it possible. I'll burn the world down before I let anything touch our child." "That's what I'm afraid of," she admitted. "That you'll have to. That our baby will grow up in danger. That they'll pay for our choices." "No." His hands framed her face. "They'll grow up loved, protected, surrounded by people who would die for them. And when they're old enough, they'll choose their own path, not mine, not yours, theirs. I promise you that." "How can you promise that?" "Because I'm going to start changing things. Go legitimate. Clean up my operations. I've been building the foundation for months." His smile was soft. "I knew this was coming." "You knew I was pregnant?" "No. But I knew I wanted a life with you. A real one. The kind that doesn't end in violence." He pressed his palm to her still, flat stomach. "This just makes it more urgent." Tears spilt down her cheeks. "You'd give up everything for this? For us?" "I already have." He kissed her forehead. "Everything I built was to protect myself. But now, I have something worth protecting that's more important than power or reputation or fear. I have you. And now, I have this. It's going to be hard. I know. There will be people who won't let you walk away. I know that too." His eyes were hard. "Which is why I'm not walking. I'm fighting my way out. And I'm taking you and our baby with me." The next 6 months were a blur. Jaewon dismantled his empire piece by piece, selling off the criminal enterprises, going legitimate with the rest, making deals with people who used to be enemies. Some accepted, some fought back. There were attempts on his life, on hers, close calls that left her shaking and him furious. But they survived. And Nadia's belly grew, round and full and miraculous. Jaewon became obsessed with her safety, her comfort, her every need. He read pregnancy books cover to cover, attended every appointment, talked to their baby every night like they could already understand him. "You're going to be so loved," he whispered against her stomach one night. "So protected. So free. Everything your mother and I never had, you'll have. I promise." Nadia ran her fingers through his hair, heart so full it ached. "They're lucky to have you as a father." "I'm the lucky one." He looked up at her. "You gave me everything, Nadia. A reason to be better. A future worth fighting for. A love I didn't know I was capable of. You were always capable of it. You just needed someone worth giving it to." His smile was devastating. "Good thing I found her." Their daughter was born on a Tuesday in the spring. 10 fingers, 10 toes, perfect in every way. Jaewon held her like she was made of glass, tears streaming down his face. "She's beautiful," he whispered. She looks like you. She has your eyes. She has everything. He kissed the baby's forehead, then Nadia's. Everything I never knew I wanted. They named her Minji. New beginning. It felt appropriate. 2 weeks later, Jae-won came home with papers. It's done, he said. Everything. All the transfers, all the deals, all the exits. I'm officially out. Nadia looked up from nursing Minji. Out? Legitimate. Clean. Free. He knelt beside her chair. It wasn't easy. There were prices to pay, favors to call in, threats to neutralize. But it's over. We're safe. How safe? Safe enough. His hand covered hers on their daughter's head. Safe enough to live without looking over our shoulders. Safe enough to be a family. And the people who wanted you dead? Taken care of. His expression darkened. They won't be a problem anymore. She didn't ask for details. She didn't need to. So what now? She asked instead. Now? He smiled. Now we live. We raise our daughter. We build something good. We choose each other every single day. Sounds perfect. It will be. He kissed her softly. I'll make sure of it. 6 months later, Nadia stood in their new home, a house in the suburbs, far from the city, surrounded by gardens and safety. Minji was crawling, babbling, and lighting up every room she entered. Jae-won was teaching at a university now, using his business expertise legitimately. He came home every evening at 6, traded his expensive suits for jeans and sweaters, and played with his daughter until she fell asleep in his arms. He'd kept his promise, given them a life free from violence, free from fear. Happy? He asked one evening, finding Nadia on the porch watching the sunset. Terrified, she admitted, that I'll wake up, and this will all be a dream. It's not. He wrapped his arms around her from behind. This is real. You're real. We're real. I love you, she whispered. I love you more. He turned her to face him. Thank you. For what? For seeing me when I was invisible. For choosing me when I was dangerous. For believing I could be better than what I was. His forehead touched hers. For giving me everything. You gave me everything first, she countered. You gave me myself back. They stood there as the sun set, wrapped in each other, and the impossible miracle of their love. Inside, Minji started crying. They both smiled. I'll get her, Jae-won said. We'll both get her. Hand in hand, they walked back inside. To their daughter, to their life, to their future, to everything they'd fought for, and everything they'd finally won.